explain it. Let's talk to Vanessa Frake, Reform UK's Justice Advisor, former prison governor. Vanessa, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
I mean, I'd like to ask you if you've got any clue about where they're going to detain them, but I mean, do you happen to know off the top of your head whether there is any kind of detention centre around the south coast of England that they could use? I mean, I know there's a few disused barracks and things like that, but they're not fit for purpose for detention, are they?
Oh, well, I have absolutely no idea, Mike, and it's interesting
like
that
Yvette
the
Cooper,
Labour
then.
Have absolutely no idea. Let's hope they're not going to put them in our prisons, hey?
Well, they're certainly going to find a little bit difficult finding any space in the prisons, aren't they? I mean, we're still sort of limit up on the prison population at the moment, aren't we?
Pretty much so, yes.
Yeah, so you've just become Reform UK's Justice Advisor, and I know you've had a couple of run-ins already just in the last couple of days, so I'm not going to give you a hard time about that, because I saw your explanation for the trans thing, which seems to me to be actually reasonably sensible. And so I'm not going to even bother sort of getting you to go over that again. But let's talk about Nigel Farage, because he has got some pretty good ideas about what he wants to do about the police. He's saying he wants no more of these cover-ups that are going on. He wants to make sure that the public is given the information that they need to make judgments as to who they should want to vote for. Is it the case in the prison system as well that there are things that we're kind of not allowed to know?
In what respect, Mike? Sorry.
I'm talking. Well, in reference, I mean, Nigel's talking about the cover-up by the Warwickshire police, who basically took a decision not to release the identities and the ethnicities and the immigration status of two men who were arrested and charged for the alleged rape of a 12-year-old girl. Keir Starmer this morning in the Times is saying basically, you know. What we need to be is more transparent. I was just wondering if the same problem persists in the prison system, where the people that run it don't want us to know what it's really like going on in there.
Well, I always think that the prison system has been fairly transparent. It's the powers that be that have not been.
Yeah.
I am all for transparency, because without transparency, as we all know, you know, the rumour mill starts and problems occur.
Yeah.
So I'm always for transparency and saying it how it is.
Right. Because we had some figures that came out just recently, didn't we, last week, of numbers of foreign inmates and the types of sort of sentences that they're getting and how many of them are, and broken down by country. But it's sort of the first time I think we've seen that, really.
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, every time a prisoner walks through a gate, their ethnicity, is recorded. So there is no reason why, you know, we shouldn't be able to see those figures.
Right.
You know, it is worrying that there are so many foreign national prisoners languishing in our jails when we are so short for prison beds.
Yes, particularly when the government keeps talking about deporting people who have no right to be in this country. Surely nothing really kind of defines that more than somebody who's a foreign national who has come to this country and committed a crime. Surely they are the very first people that should be on the deportation list, because they don't deserve to be here.
Absolutely. But don't forget, many of those 10,500, 11,000 foreign national prisoners, many of them are still awaiting trial or on remand.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily ready to be deported, and that is the issue. But I'm all for get them convicted, unless they've committed serious violent crime like murder, rape, etc. Then they should be on the first boat back.
Yeah, absolutely
to
right.
whence they came.
And I understand there's some conversations going on as well between yourselves in the party about this idea of supermax prisons. What would that entail?
Well, this is something that I said about yesterday, but I didn't say prisons. What I said was regimes, and there is a difference. My thoughts are that serious violent terrorist prisoners like Ruda Kabana, Hashim Abedi, you know, those prisoners with ideals that are never going to be rehabilitated should be in a supermax regime. They should be 23-hour bang-up, escorted everywhere in handcuffs with 3 officers and an officer with a patrol dog. You know, their regime needs to be much more restricted. I do not see that how we have appeased these prisoners over the years is warranted. when they have been convicted of blowing up, innocent people into smithereens, such as the Manchester Arena bomber.
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe a wing or two around our high security estate converted into a supermax wing with specialist trained officers who have very little contact with them.
Right. And how quickly could that sort of setup be put together, if you like? I mean, could you use current spaces, or would you need to build onto them? How quickly could that be done?
I'm pretty sure that in the high security state, one wing could be turned into a supermax wing. Thankfully, we don't have that many prisoners of the likes of the two I've just mentioned. So, and I think what you'd have to do is probably convert a couple around the high security estate, in case that there were issues where you had to move several out. I don't think that they should be in the general population. I don't think that they should have access to cooking their own food.
Right.
There are many Cat C prisoners who have not committed violent crime who would love to be able to cook their own meals.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think most people would agree with it. Vanessa, good to talk to you. Thanks.